meaningful work. Anybody who has been watching events in the state knows that that was not even an option. There's no way that anybody could have been able to go before the tribunal in Port Harcourt to be able to make a case. And even the tribunal themselves, if they are also made up of human beings who would also fear for their own safety. So the volatile political climate the state affected everybody and affected everything. And I think that at the end of the day, tribunal had no option than to relocate to Abuja. Anybody who has been watching developments in Rivers State would see that there was really no way that the tribunal could sit in Port Harcourt. But if you look at the March 18th elections in Rivers State, and you take even a cursory view of the returns that were posted on the IREV, on your own, even without a tribunal, you can take out over 150,000 of the votes that are being claimed by the PDP as having been won by them in the governorship election in Rivers State. You can take it out without talking to anybody. First of all, the figures are obviously manipulated. You see numbers that don't tally with the figures in words. You see where one party has X number of votes in words, and then in the figures, it is changed to reflect something else. You also see the time of uploading and all that. Everybody can see clearly that the return that was made for the PDP in the governorship election does not match what was on the IREV as far as the votes are concerned. So we will be contesting all of that. And it will be their own responsibility to come and show how it was only in Rivers those votes for them. State that we had Order 21 and Order 22. It was only in Rivers State that we had Order 21 and Order 22 issued by the state government that virtually prohibited other political parties from carrying out any campaigns. It was only in Rivers State that it was made physically impossible by the use of violence, state-sponsored violence, to actually stop other politicians, including myself, from being able to access the voters, to move around with our message, to be able to share our own message with the voters in Rivers.
Well, again, we just had to set the tone correctly, and with those voices, and again, those were the voices of Senator Magnus Abe reacting to some of the issues allegedly played out during the governorship election in Rivers State. I have some very distinguished personalities in the studio with me. I have here a very senior journalist in Rivers State, who's also one of those in the studio. He's of the Gatekeepers Advocacy Group, Wari Senegal, Joe Johnson. And good morning. Thank you so much for coming on Point Blank this Saturday.
Thank you, Shegun, and good morning to Rivers people.
Thank you so much. And also a very good friend who's coming to the studio for the very first time, but he's always very active on this radio and contributing to all of our programs and comments. And it's Omasheye, I believe I got that right, Jerry. It's known as JJ. I'll call you JJ.
Yes. I will answer JJ for this, and the right pronunciation is Omashogunwa Jerry.
Okay, Omashogunwa Jerry.
Yes.
Okay, Omashogunwa Jerry.
Yes.
But again, for the benefit for this program, he's JJ.
Yes.
And another friend is also here, is also of the Gatekeeper Advocacy Group and same media volunteer, Bernard Odike. And this is the popular Odike. And I've succeeded in bringing you to studio this morning. It's good to see you, Bernard.
Thank you, Mr. Shegun.
Okay, so again...
It's also right honorable.
Okay, so gentlemen, let us get it straight. Now, you heard the voice of Senator Magnus Abe that a lot of firsts were recorded in Rivers State, that it was the first time that in the history of Rivers State, we had people being stopped from going to election and people being harassed. And again, the article I read a while ago by Dr. The former DG of NIMASA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, he said what happened in Rivers State can actually win a Guinness Book of Record as a haste, a record of electoral haste. Again, let me start with you, JJ.
Well, I think for the Order 21 that Magnus Abe talked about, we also have some orders in Ebonyi State, where even the governor, who is an APC man, also fined his party that they didn't comply with the order. He fined them, I think, 1 million naira and all those put together. But saying that state-sponsored violence and all those, well, I don't know about state-sponsored violence. We know that they are complaining that a lot of people didn't allow them. It shows some level of rejection from by the people. So if they reject you, it even reflected in the election proper. 23/23 is similarly Fubara. How do you beat that? It has not happened in this state before. The only time or state that happened was when Obiano was going for second tenure in Anambra State, that he got all the local government put together because of the good work he did in his first tenure, and because of the good job Governor Wike did in all the local government. You don't expect the people to say they will reject his party's candidate and all those. So for me, I think the people rejected these people. That's why in the first place, they reject them from campaigning and also reject them on the election day proper.
Was it a rejection, or again, let me just read what Dakuku Peterside said here. He said, orchestrated mob action and drama, an attempt for denial, and Magnus Abe said even supporters of opposition politicians were beaten and were told you cannot come out.
You remember what happened in the Capitol Hill, U.S., where Donald Trump made a little broadcast and people gathered at Capitol Hill to make sure that they want to defend democracy and all those. I think that's the same thing that played out during the campaign here. They have had enough, and this man has done very well. This is a man, that's Sim Fubara now, is a man that has studied under a lot of leaders. He worked under Odili, worked under Amechi, worked under Wike, and today is the governor-elect. So you cannot have such good product, and you are bringing people and you want them to listen to other people that they don't really know. So
good product, you are saying here.
Yes, good product. A man that have walked through the ranks, a man that have done very well under these people. If he has not done well, ordinarily people like Amechi, when he was governor, would have even sacked him. But because the man is a man that have worked very well, and they said, look, we have to go, and he grew through the ranks and understand everything. And I tell you, as soon as he comes in, any button he press, everything begins to move because he has learned very well. He's just like a footballer that has been on the sideline watching people play. As soon as he comes in, it's good to go.
Okay, let me come to Joe Johnson, and we'll be taking a lot of calls here. Joe Johnson, you are a journalist, and a lot of people have said what we saw in the last governorship and House of Assembly election in Rivers State are laying the foundation for complete dismiss of our democracy. And actually, there is a call that all lovers of democracy must not allow what we saw in the governorship and State House of Assembly elections in Rivers State stand. As a journalist, would you say those assertions are correct?
Well, for me, it would be difficult for me to truly align with the opinions being canvassed by others. My worry is that on this particular election, I usually had always been on election duty as a journalist, but this one, I was regimented. I was in my constituency. So I would be having limited knowledge as to what people are saying. But I don't like throwing sands at people. I must say sincerely that elections naturally will come with challenges. But as a football administrator, I know that when people lose, I know the pains we go through. It would be better to assume that it is a sport that we have all come to experience, and when you lose, you take a bow.
So you were saying that those who lost should have taken a bow rather than making a comment. But again, a lot of them are saying that the situation in Rivers State is so embarrassing to our electoral process, embarrassing to our democracy. And I want Odike to come in here, Bernard. Bernard, you are also a blogger, and I've seen some of your comments on the social media. Are you embarrassed to be associated with the result of this governorship election in Rivers State?
Sasegun, I wouldn't say so. I'm a practical person, and I can tell you that the case in Rivers State was a clear case of, I am from a community where, like during the election, I'm trying to get a picture out here of the deputy director of the APC campaign, you know, who is from the same ward with me, a former agric commissioner here in Rivers State. We're from the same ward. And in the course of the election, I know we took selfie. We won in the place. You understand? We won. If in my place, like he said, Joe Johnson said earlier on that he was in his ward or community during the election, he didn't go all over everywhere. Now, let's begin to talk. You see, when people come out on media or on social media to talk, you can see somebody. I remember a young man from Opobo side talking about that, you know, talking about how they will win election and all the rest. But when he posted a result sheet from his area, he signed as an agent. PDP won overwhelmingly. And he began to ask, where will the winning come from? If you have failed in your own polling units, who would win the election for you? Are you understanding me? Now, it's a case of PDP being a popular party in Rivers State with the people. Let me even digress a bit. The result from the presidential election in Enugu State, where, what's his name, P2B won overwhelmingly. In fact, even APC and PDP could not score up to 10,000 votes. And yet he scored over 500,000 votes there. You come to Abia, somebody was declared governor-elect in Abia State who is not a PDP person. And as we know, even the governor of Abia State, who also contested as a senator, has, you know, decided not to even go to court to challenge whatever it is for whatsoever good reasons. So what we are trying to say is that wherever you are not popular, you don't expect to overwhelm the people there. For instance, you come to my community and you know you're not popular and you want to gag me in that place. It's like you're digging your own grave because the people mob. There's what we call mob action. The people will mob you. Like when the former commissioner of agriculture, APC deputy director general came to our own village. We have 3 villages that form the ward. When he came to our village that day, a whole lot of our people were like trying to raise an uproar. But those of us who understood that, okay, we're of the same ward, perhaps he has what do you call it, an assignment to do to oversee operations within the ward. Understand? We kept calm. Even I took a selfie with him. I'm trying to scroll out that picture here. I took a selfie with him there. We won the election clean and clear. So for me, from my own perspective, I can tell you that the election was a free and fair election won by the PDP.
You know, gentlemen, and Bernard, I will come to you, Joe Johnson, and also JJ. I'm not expecting you to say anything more than this, because, of course, you would say the People's Democratic Party won the election. But again, a lot of people are looking at what happened, the reality on the street. Again, you said you were very popular. Let us look at the events that followed even after the election. We've seen a kind of drama at INEC office, lawyers being arrested. They could not find their appeal. Even the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress was molested, was malhandled, was abused. If you're that popular, would your party need to go through the routes?
No, I don't want us to...
Joe Johnson, yes.
I don't want us to veer into... If you had been able to signpost why we are here, it will help our discussions.
Exactly.
So when you take us to an area that we probably didn't have...
No, but again, it's all about it, because I know that you guys are media advocates of Simlai Fubara, and I know that you are saying that he is very popular and he won the election. I'm throwing the same light to you, but I'm saying that if you're so popular, why would opposition politicians be denied access to sensitive electoral material?
That's what I'm saying. If you situate the signpost for where we are here, then we'll be able to deal with the issue.
Please go ahead.
I'm going back to the voice. You had 2 messages, one from
Magnus
Abi and then Dr. Dakuku.
The article about Dakuku, yes.
Yes. Funny enough, I'm an Opobo man.
Okay.
And Dakuku was also at home. What he would have written, I don't know on what premise, because you must situate it properly. Is he writing from his own ward, which is Ward 3 in Opobo? If that is the account, then it's not a proper account. So it's contestable. To describe it as a haste means that you must have taken a holistic overview, evaluation as to what would have happened. So I don't know the basis for what Dakuku has written stands for. But to say that even in my own ward, which is Ward 2, Dakuku is Ward 3, I can say that PDP won overwhelmingly, and there was no noise in Opobo. I'm talking about Opobo and Koro as it were. So to say that that the election was a haste and describing it as all the things that we have heard shows that it's a misplaced judgment. And naturally, whatever we are doing, we must try to situate it properly. PDP had a foundation. For Magnus Abe, listening to Governor Nyesom Wike, who had said Magnus had only pleaded to just be on the ballot, would mean that he had actualized his lifetime ambition.
Okay.
So I don't know where we are going to, but if
again, that's a very huge statement you've made there. But again, I'm going to come back because I know that one of the things that you also want to do is to commend the people for voting for Simlife.
Yes,
and also, you also have the intention of asking Rivers people to also have the faith and believe in Simlife Fubara, that it has what it takes. Again, those are easy, but we have to look at where we're coming from till we get to this point. Definitely, I did say that we have a governor, and the governor-elect is Simlife Fubara, who will become the governor on May 29. However, these issues are very germane if we're beginning to look at our democracy, and that's why we're talking about all of that.
Okay. Now, I'm also a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear.
Interesting. Yeah.
So when a matter is before the jury, it will be abnormal to begin to discuss it in the court of public opinion. I'm sure that I read clearly that all the other candidates are in court. Why don't we give the judiciary opportunity to make a pronouncement? Because where we are, the court does not listen to public opinion. The court looks at the rules. If the rules were properly followed and all the doctrines of law are in place, I don't think that any sane judge will misplace judgment. So if you ask me, I would rather say, let's work on the compass of what has brought us so that we can make progress. We have limited time, except we're interested in other issues.
Fantastic. But why we agree with you that, again, this matters in court. But again, public perception also matters, particularly when we've been accused of having shenanigans in power and those who have diminish our democracy value. Again, that is another very critical issue there. I don't know if that makes any importance to you to talk about. Yeah. Bernard.
It's all about what anybody feels or wants to talk about. For instance, like you mentioned, you said some of us are like bloggers, and in some of those platforms, you hear what opinion people hold about some of us. You see how somebody will call somebody like me data boy. You understand? I begin to.
But again, is that a derogatory statement?
I don't know what that means, because what it means is that somebody pays me to talk.
So you were not paid?
Nobody pays me to talk. I'm a reverse man. As I speak to you, like you hear somebody say, an old man of 50 years or 49 plus, and I will laugh. Who is being a data boy, and I will laugh. I am somebody that I'm so independent-minded. This is the man I was telling about in the picture.
Okay.
This on election day, look at the date. On election day, the Deputy Director General...
I'm sure you can put that to the cameras as well, so that if you want that to be on the camera, so cameras can actually pick up that. Yes. Yeah, but you may go ahead.
Now, I have opposed this set of people, right from early days, on principle basis. On principle basis. It's not about what I get from anybody. At my age, today, I don't think I need anybody to push me to do what I don't want to do.
Okay.
I have my conscience. We all want a better society. We all want a society where the system is working. And what do we have? Today in Rivers State, Governor Wike had exceeded expectations. Governor Wike has exceeded expectations. Now, how did we even come back to PDP? Because I said we oppose these people. At a point, the same people who are making noise today were the people who were attacking us, dealing with us during elections. These same people. But because you have become unpopular and you are no longer having your way to do those things you used to do, because somebody had come on a popular ground to change the perspective.
Okay.
Now, if somebody wants to be a hooligan and decides to misbehave, like earlier on this program today, a representative of Rumuwoji community was here, I think their chairman also, and they were talking about activities going on. Sometimes it could not even be people from that community, or it could be some boys too from that community that are part of those who are doing what's happening there. And people will say, oh, the community people. If somebody is misbehaving, for instance, somebody will say River State is unsafe, and then they will try to tag it on the governor. How is River State unsafe, and how is governor being responsible for instance, now as we are here now, if I decide to blow Joe Johnson, if I blow him now, I would have blown him. What will now happen will be what? The consequence of me blowing him. Maybe he may blow me back, which will become a fight. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Now the police, the security agencies, even the governor himself is not here. So what we should do, instead of people to condemn, when individuals commit crimes or something, condemn those that commit crime and talk about how the law will catch up with them. And don't come up to generalize it and then put it on government, which also emboldens these criminals to keep on doing, because they feel that they have people who are now speaking for them, per se, and then hiding under the accusation of the government in place. No society is 100% free of issues. Yeah. Our own here too will not be different. Yeah. So if some persons have acted outside whatsoever, you can't put it to say that, oh, it's an orchestrated act by the governor or the government or the party in place. But what I can tell you is that what you are seeing or hearing from these people, for instance, I think, was it on Point Blank here too, where Abe appeared, and he said a whole lot of things. He tried to condemn what happened in River State, and I saw somebody write on social media pointing out that when he was asked question on about the victory of the president-elect, the way he now answered it, you were condemning the one that happened in governorship election, according to him. Now the president-elect, because you have an interest, all he did was, all was well.
Well, again, you are the one saying he has an interest. I'm not aware that he has an interest.
No, I know he has an interest.
The world knows he has an interest.
He has an interest.
The world knows.
Yes.
Okay, maybe you need to make that.
So whatever that, what shenanigans, whatever you call it, people misbehaving, even in our families where we come from, one or two persons can just rise up and want to behave in an orderly manner. Doesn't mean that the family is an odd family. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Fantastic. You're listening to Point Blank, and I have with me in the studio members of an amalgamation of media groups who are in support of the People's Democratic Party and actually in support of the governor-elect in River State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara. And we're looking at all of the event that played out, and they're particularly excited at the choice of Sir Siminalayi Fubara and would also want to commend Rivers people and urge Rivers people to keep faith with Sir Siminalayi Fubara. While we are also aware that some issues surrounding this election, the governorship election, are in court, and we don't want to pry into some of those issues in court. However, we're interested in looking at alleged insinuation that there is a gradual dismantling of our democracy, and how correct would that statement be, particularly looking at the just concluded election in River State. So our focus is not to dissect issues in court, but to look at issues surrounding our democracy as it affects River State, and also the choice of Sir Siminalayi Fubara. And we have in the studio a fantastic gentleman. I've been speaking to Warri Senator Joe Johnson, who's a gatekeeper advocacy group, and also as a senior journalist in River State, and also a lawyer. Just to be that he's a lawyer. Bernard Odike is a blogger and also a member of the Gatekeeper Advocacy Group and a SIM media volunteer. And JAJ as a very popular voice on radio in River State, and also is part of that group. So I'll throw open the telephone line. We'll take 3 calls. Again, we have a governor-elect, but again, would you say the democracy in River State is being threatened? Would you also agree that it's a gradual dismantling of our democracy following event that characterized the last election, and situating our points on the governorship election? Let's take 3 calls, and we come back to studio talking more to our guest here. Hello, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. This is Point Blank. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Chegos.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Yes, Comrade Letamba is my name.
Fantastic. And yeah. I will make you, I will just make it 30 seconds, please.
Okay, let me just react to what your guest just said as regard to Senator Magnus Abe. The reason why Magnus Abe supported somehow you feel he supported the president-elect is that we in the Ogoni axis here, we voted Bola Ahmed Tinubu which was what we did here. If anybody have done anything contrarily, which we are aware, that is for him. But for the fact of Senator Magnus Abe saying supporting that idea of Bola Tinubu, I don't know why it will call for you
again,
to like put.
I'm very sorry, but that is not the focus of the game. But again, it's very, very clear you have made your position known and you have made that clarification. And thank you so much for that. Let's move to another caller. Good morning and thank you for joining us, Point Blank.
Hello, Pastor Shady, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Chief calling from Port Harcourt.
Good, thank you so much.
Yes, JJ, I greet you.
Good morning.
Yes, Shady, please, I think our advice Magnus, before he condemns the option of the victory of sin, but should condemn that of Bola Tinubu first, I think we'll take him serious.
Okay.
We are aware that Governor Wike helped Tinubu to the election in Rivers State, but today Magnus is pretending. You don't want to talk, that he will benefit.
Well, thank you so much for that, and let's take another one. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank.
Good morning, Shegu.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, my name is Nick Urike, and I'm calling you from Omago.
Good. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good morning, my friend Diego. Shegu, very simple question. Why do Rivers people vote for Seminary Kubara? Civil servants are hard. This is the time a civil servant is becoming a government. And the people are happy to vote. Shegu, people are saying they read them out. Shegu, need to be physically and making from economic outcome. He lost in his unit. Shegu, I don't understand when people, when you lose a match and you want to blame the referee for losing a match, and you are aware that you didn't play well in that match.
All right, thank you so much for that. And let's take this one. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank.
Good morning, Pastor Shegu.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guests in the studio. My name is Otto Augustine Lugard. I'm calling from Onega.
Fantastic.
I think your guest has been economical with the truth. Because indeed, in Rivers State, the political climate is being denounced by some persons, most especially those that read the election. We shouldn't give a blind eye to it or form a deaf ear to it. There was a well-orchestrated plan to frustrate the opposition party in the Rivers State. First of all, it started from under 22, under 21, and the several others they brought out. Thirdly, they can cry in various communities. They asking people not to come as if you are not voting a particular party. Why are they sounding as if they didn't know what was happening in the state?
All right, thank you so much. Let us just leave it at that. I'm very sorry. Let's leave it at that. Let's take more. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
My name is Donubari Asogo.
Donubari Asogo, please stay in 30 seconds.
Okay. I would like to advise some of you, your guests that is there, mentioning Magnus Abe taking interest in Ahmed Tinubu. Everybody in Rivers State knows that Magnus has been working for Tinubu for a very long time. Everybody knows that Magnus, if we are to vote our presidential aspirant, everybody knows that every SDP member voted for Tinubu because we know that that is where Magnus belongs.
Okay.
So when you talk, don't talk as if you are the one, that you are the PDP people that voted for Tinubu.
Thank you so much, Donubari Agogo. Thank you so much, Donubari. I lost that. Let me just take this one. And this will be the last one before we come back to our guest. Good morning.
Good morning, the guests in the studio.
Good morning.
This is calling from Wochi. Please, your guests in the studio, you asked them about the rain on the APC governorship candidate at the INEC office. They try to divert the answer. They don't want to answer. I don't know why they don't want to answer that one. That one did not happen.
Okay.
They're supposed to answer that one. It did happen in INEC office. Why did they answer? I was waiting to get the answer of that question.
Well, thank you so much. So again, let's come back to the gentleman in the studio. And again, perhaps you want to react to some of the comments. Yes, JJ.
Shagun, the first caller is Letambari from Bori, right? And he said we don't know why Magnus somehow support Tinubu. I don't know what he means by somehow. Because I also know, and you know, that the SDP has a presidential candidate.
Yes.
So what is somehow supporting Tinubu? It doesn't mean that he played anti-party during the presidential election. So what are we talking about here? That is why, I think in reply to that, Tony Okocha also wrote article, I think last week, saying that Magnus is trying to reap from where he didn't sow. So what is somehow? I wish later Mbari can call back and explain what he meant by somehow. And you also know, because I know the next line of call now, people will say, oh, it's like Governor Wike supported Tinubu. His party had issues. And he also based that the next president is supposed to come from the South. And he voted the Southern president. So what's big about that? Don't forget that in 2015, Atiku joined President Muhammadu Buhari. Even when Jonathan begged him, please support me, he said no, it's the turn of the North. So why do you expect a Governor Wike, a governor that starts with G, capital letter G, they'll say, no, I want to support another Northern president again. It won't happen that way. So he did all he could do for the benefit of the South. What next? There's a Shika said, okay, he advised us to continue in that line. Then you have Otto. We must mention Magnus because he's one of the key players. As soon as we entered here, before you even introduce us, you played his voice note and all those put together.
And just to the perception of the...
Yes, we have to discuss because it too is not clear. Okay. I will also quote Okoshatu again, saying that he is trying to reap where he didn't sow. Because if the SDP has a presidential candidate, what did he do? How did he not support Tinubu? Until he explained that to Rivers people, right. Then we can now take off from there.
So gentlemen, again, while you also, we Rivers people are setting the agenda for the incoming governor, and I know that you have so much faith on the incoming governor. I will be asking you that what should Rivers people look forward to? Because again, you have worked closely with the incoming governor in the area of media during the campaign. Yeah. But just before then, I would like Bernard Odike and also Joe Johnson to look at this, because the fear is that if we allow the prevailing feeling of alleged disenfranchisement to continue, our democracy may become a mere nomenclature. Do you have such feelings?
No, I don't. I don't, because there are no two situations that are the same.
Okay.
What happened in 2019 may not have been what happened in 2023. I'm sure that with the introduction of the electronic kind of things that we saw, there will be continuous improvements. The government of SIM, my perception is that looking at its 18.38 page agenda on his blueprint, that Rivers State is going to face a revolution. And then I would expect that it will be a departure. It will be a departure from what we have experienced from the beginning of the creation of Rivers State in 1967. I would rather think that Rivers people should not judge a book by its cover.
Okay.
They should allow us look at the preface and all the chapters of what has been put out in that blueprint. So if we have that mindset that the consolidation agenda will give us some ray of hope by the persona of Sim Fubara, I would expect that it would be best to give him an enabling space to be able to express, to manifest to the interest of Rivers people.
Well, fantastic. Well said. And but just before I will come to you, Bernard Odike, and I also want Jerry also to, because a lot of time when we vote, the thinking is that our vote will change something. But he has just said something which is very, very critical. 18-point agenda, 38-page blueprint. But so many people are not even aware of this. So many people don't even know what they expect of the incoming governor. Am I correct in my assertion again? And again, so again, perhaps you might just want to tell Rivers people that, look, in a short while, I hope to bring on board the workers' NLC representative, and I'll be speaking to them. What are their expectations as we're having May Day coming up, and what are the expectations they have of an incoming governor? Perhaps you want to tell us some of the things Rivers people should look forward to with the incoming governor.
You know, part of his speech on his acceptance speech, he talked about creating one mega industry in each of the senatorial districts.
And beg your pardon now, because again, I was also aware of that, because I was also at that forum where you addressed business and professionals, and he talked about that. But how much does Rivers people really know on that?
If they don't want to know, they don't want to know. You see, no. See, you see, you can force the horse to the river, but you cannot force the horse to drink water from the river. You were there, you saw the whole lot of people. I've been trying my best to make sure I distribute these whole ideas to Rivers people within my area. If everybody that filled that hall that day, the hall was filled to the brim, take this message like a gospel to the people, then we are good to go. And I think they know it even better than you. That is why they vote overwhelmingly. The 23/23 local government voted for him and all those put together. So I think they know. And again, this is the very first time in Rivers State that you are having a smooth transition, intra-party transition, not those inter-party. Let me take an example of the shopping mall built by Omea opposite the former NDDC. You see that place is still dirty today. But SIM will not leave any stone untouched. Any project that is not completed by this administration, then SIM roll it over and continue it. At the end of the day, Rivers State is happy. Lagos is growing today. Why? You have this government from Tinubu to Fashola, from Fashola to Ambode, the same party. And you see how Lagos is just flying as if it's Usain Bolt versus JJ that is running. So these are the issues.
And JJ is not an athlete.
At all. And that is exactly what will happen in Rivers State here. You will now see the race between Usain Bolt and let me take my own state, Delta State now. Like Rivers is Usain Bolt and JJ is Delta. And you know the rest of the story because Okowa performed abysmally. You cannot compare Okowa.
Well, again, that's an allegation.
That's my state. That is my state.
You don't have all the statistics.
Where to put your leg in Asaba.
A lot of people will tell you.
In Warri.
If you permit me, a lot of people will tell you that Okowa is the roadmaster, and actually that's
he's not roading any master. Anyway, tell me which of the road he has done.
Anyway, let's
and I will name how many flyover Governor Wike has done within the same period. He collected more of the 13% derivation than even Rivers State. So if we don't do comparative analysis, we may not even know where we are and where we came from.
Well, that's not the crux of the matter because again, today just makes it about 1 month to the inauguration on May 29th, and a lot of people will be expecting so much from the incoming governor of Rivers State, Similai Fubara. But again, how much should the people expect, and what do they even know that the coming governor will be coming with? And those are some of the issues we'll be asking. Maybe I'll just take some calls, and I'll come back to you, Bernard Odike, because you want to say, I also learned that you also want to do some free giveaways. I don't know how that works. Maybe it's going to be done on the social media so those listening to us can actually win something while listening to us. But again, let's just go back to the telephone lines now. We'll take 4 calls, and you can also send us your WhatsApp voice. Send a note voice to 09059481021. It's just 1 month to the inauguration of Sir Siminalayi Fubara as the next governor of Rivers State. But again, what are your expectations? Do you know what he has on board for you? Just talk to us. 30 seconds. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
My name is Honorable Joseph Ake from Papa.
Honorable, we're finding it difficult to hear you clearly. Perhaps you might need to speak up.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My take is that it will be wrong for me to actually judge the election now. The matter is already in the court. But what I can ask now is, what is the arrangement for Rivers youth, from the angle of the PDP?
Well, Honorable, I beg your pardon, the line is not very clear, and I apologize. We have to call the call because the line is not very clear. It's my food. If you could speak up better or you call us on another line, we'd appreciate it.
He was talking about the expectations of the youths.
Okay.
Well, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
My friend, AJ, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, when you finish I come to board, I want to host you now. Shegu, I remain anonymous here. Yes, I want to comment.
Okay, we lost that. So we have another one coming through. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Mr. Frank.
Mr. Frank, good morning.
Yeah, Shegun, let me greet the guest in the studio.
Please.
But I want to say it with deep sorrow in my heart that some persons who never saw good thing in me years back. Some person never saw good thing from President Goodluck Jonathan years back are coming to sit down in Super FM today to tell the Rivers people that this, that this, that. This is the same persons that we used to tackle for the insult that he rendered on the governor of this state and then Goodluck Jonathan. But today, because of stomach infrastructure, the person has the impetus to sit down without telling the Rivers people the truth. I am a PDP man, full PDP man, a card-carry PDP man from my work in my state. But when I see lies, I tell you that this thing is lies.
So tell us, what are the lies you've seen?
The lies there is that there was no free and fair election in Rivers State.
Right. Well, thank you so much. Let me just keep it. Okay, I'll give you 15 seconds.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, hold on. Governor of Rivers State have done well. And if you know that you have done well, you allow the people to decide that for who is coming in.
All right.
Not
Fantastic.
for you.
I'm very sorry because time will not permit us to take it further. But again, I would like to take some comments on the WhatsApp page. Now, you can record your comments on the WhatsApp page 09059481021. Again, 09059481021. We'll just take two of them and we'll come back to the guys in the studio. So let's have this first one coming in on the WhatsApp page. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Shegun.
Thank you.
My name is Gustime Port Tombari.
Gustime, thank you.
From Bonny Island. Well, your guest in the studio just lied against Senator Magnus Ngeyabe, my principal, and he completely insulted the people of Rivers State by using the word Magnus Abe only wanted to be on the ballots. That's a very big insult, not only to Magnus Abe, but the whole Rivers people. You saw the supports that the people of Rivers State gave to the man during the campaign. The only problem we have in Rivers State is that the governor and the PDP knew that Magnus Abe would be the next governor by free and fair election. And that was why you saw they were fighting against him, prevented him from campaigning, making unnecessary laws.
All right, thank you so much, my brother. We said 30 seconds, and we quite appreciate it. I think you've made your point. Let's take another one, another 30 seconds.
Good morning, Shegu. Once again. Good morning, JJ. I greet you. This is Bishop Kingdom from Woji.
Bishop Kingdom.
Let me quickly say this. Politics is about popularity and integrity. The governor-elect have so much integrity right from Odili's government down to the government of Yesowo Wike. He has been punctual, he has been popular, and for that reason, the PDP party cannot lose election in Rivers State. You have heard governors say over and over, postpone this election 1 million times, PDP will still win. I think PDP is Rivers State and Rivers State is PDP. Therefore, nobody should demarcate Rivers State. And I urge all of us to accept failure and work with Rivers people in order to...
Bishop Kingdom, thank you so much. We said 30 seconds. So, gentlemen, we just have barely 5 minutes to wrap this up. So we can, let us look at those comments. Yes.
Yes, the first guy that called, that you said is called Muffled Up, said is honorable. He asked about the program for the youth. I think the youth has a lot in this same administration. You'll see that even this present administration of Governor Nyesom Wike, that they are employing 10,000 persons right now, the youth are 5,000 or more in this employment that is ongoing. That is specifically for the youth. And I know that same, we have more of that for the youth at the end of it, because the youth are the future. If you watch WWE, you hear Randy Orton some years ago, we tell you...
Now, you talk about WWE. What exactly is WWE?
That's World Wrestling...
okay, the wrestling channel.
Yes, that's why I called Randy Orton. He will tell you 10, 15 years ago that we are the future of this business.
Okay.
So that is to tell you, as at then, it was like 26, 27, and he knows that he has the potential to carry the business. That's how the governor-elect also sees the youth of Rivers State right now. So he has a lot in store.
Fantastic. DK, yes, Bernard. Yes, sir. Any from you?
Yes, yeah. You talked about, I know you were trying to ask about the expectations of the people with regards to the incoming administration. I am from Emoha local government area. Sassin went to the 23 LGAs of the state, campaigning, telling every LGA specifically what his program for every LGA will be. For instance, my LGA, he was categorical on the issue of agriculture, mechanized agriculture. Now, talking about, you say people are not aware of, or maybe people are aware of the blueprints. Part of what we do, like I represent 2 groups here, the Gatekeepers Advocacy Group and the Same Media Volunteer. The role of Gatekeepers Advocacy Group is to ensure that what is truth stands and what is not the truth does not stand. Then for Same Media Volunteer, we try to disseminate information as much as we can, and we have been doing that. For instance, when the governor-elect as a candidate came to your AGA to campaign, and he said things, when people go to campaign, sometimes people get carried away.
With the music and all
they get carried away. They don't listen to what the person that is coming to talk to them to ask for their votes for.
So for you, you were saying that he actually said to them what he would do.
He did. And then even from the blueprint too, who have been disseminated, people should open up their hearts.
All right, fantastic.
I'm coming. People should open up their hearts. You've been hearing people say that Tinubu will not succeed, Tinubu will fail. And I begin to wonder, that shouldn't be our prayer at this age.
Right, again,
it doesn't matter where the person comes from or who the person is. What we should be looking at as citizens is that whoever we have elected must succeed and deliver so that we don't suffer.
Again, gentlemen, I did say at the beginning of the program that, of course, elections are over and we have an incoming governor who will be inaugurated exactly a month from today, and governance will commence. So again, I just want us to begin to wrap all of this up, and I'm allow Warri Senator Joe Johnson to do that for maybe 1 minute. Just put everything together.
Just to say that in another hour from now, there will be the inauguration committee.
Okay.
It's a departure from what you have in other states where you have transition committee. Because we're consolidating on the goodwill or the good jobs done by Governor Wike, we're inaugurating a team, not transiting. And the sense of the consolidation is to deepen on all the achievements of Governor Wike in the area of infrastructure, security, health, education, as it were. So what we have come to say is thank you. The Bomere Kosima of blessed memory says that the best way to ask for more is to say thank you. We're saying thank you to the media teams, or the media stations rather, and all the supporters of PDP and Rivers people at large who gave us the support on the 18th of March.
Fantastic.
Even in the Bible, there is the story of Jesus Christ cleaning 10 lepers and one coming to say thank you.
JJ, I don't like it when you quote Bible. I don't like it.
We are the ones that are coming out to say thank you to all the people for the support, they believe, and all those put together.
Well, fantastic. And I'm also saying thank you to you, gentlemen. I mean, I know some of you, and I know all of you, actually, and I know your pedigree. I know JJ, I know Joe Johnson, and also Benedict. And again, I saw the list also of the transition committee put in place fantastically, and it's a coming together of people from different walks of life, and even different political parties.
Very correct.
And all of them there again. So that's to say it is all about River State. True. I must wish you well, gentlemen. And JJ, we have our meeting place.
Yes, we have. So not be all cloud they drive for some.
Yes,
so don't
bother. We have our meeting place, and we'll be taking it further from there. But again, thank you so much, Warri Senator Joe Johnson, Gatekeepers Advocacy Group, Bernardo DK, Gatekeepers Advocacy Group, and Same Media Volunteer. Thank you so much, and also my friend JJ. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir.
And that's it on Point Blank this Saturday. We do hope you enjoy every bit of it. Don't forget to stay on Super